got him. My god, has it been a long time since I last uploaded a video? You probably think I've been stuck in one of the underground bunkers in Namalsk. Well, not quite, but I have, metaphorically at least, been in an underground work bunker. I got a new job as a paralegal in September, and things have been pretty crazy since then. Anyway, today I'm here to give you my thoughts on the latest release of DayZ Standalone's version of Namalsk. After 3 years of development, Sumrak, the map developer, has finally unveiled his hard work on the Steam Workshop, and it's amazing. If you're looking for that old school DayZ nostalgia, then look no further. And best of all, it's free. And as far as maps go, quite a small download at only 850 meg. I've been playing on a modded server with my good pal Hamish, so the experience will vary quite a bit from vanilla, but without doubt the biggest gameplay element added by DayZ 1.10 and worsened by the Namalsk climate is the effect of temperature on players. Wobo did a really good video which I'd definitely recommend you checking out, about how to stay alive in the cold. The temperature can and will kill you now. If you're hypothermic, for example, you'll die in around 7 minutes flat, which makes surviving Namalsk that much harder. And although Chernerus has some mountains, Namalsk has even bigger ones. Your body temperature will plummet the higher you go, so get those willies on. But what about the map itself? Well, I think it's pretty bloody amazing if you ask me, especially considering it's free and not behind a paywall like Livonia. And whilst it's not a complete revamp of the original map, i.e. most of the buildings from Arma 2 are still there, Sumrak has added some brilliant details such as a frozen submarine, a shipwreck, glaciers, and best of all, a new and improved underground system for the Athena research facilities, also known as Object A1 and Object A2. Be warned, there will be some spoilers in this video. And these underground areas make for some really interesting and new gameplay, as we don't have them in Chernerus. Underground areas are notoriously tough to make on armoured terrains, so Sumrak has done a really marvellous job putting all of this together. Object A2, for example, has like a 4 or 5 story deep labyrinth of tunnels and rooms, which is a huge step up from the old Arma 2 one. Now, one slightly more quirky element, mainly due to a limitation of the infusion engine, is the lighting. You go from being able to see to complete pitch black darkness in a matter of seconds. Whilst the lack of graduation from light to dark is a bit unrealistic, I like the fact that we have to rely on torches, fire and NVGs. Take this example of me exploring Object A2's research bunkers. You get that really spooky Chernobyl-like atmosphere, especially with the ambient sound effects. So it goes without saying, you can't just turn your gamma up and sprint around an underground area. I'll take these guys for an example. They were blind as bats when they were in the entrance to Object A1. But don't worry, I helped them to see again with my muzzle flash. And not only are most, if not all of the buildings enterable, which couldn't be said about the Arma 2 variant, the map has this really cool looting mechanic where items will spawn more frequently inside broken cars, truck, tank and helicopter wrecks, and this adds a really nice survivory feel to the map, where you're often scavenging supplies from broken down rusty vehicles. All in all, the map is not drastically different, so you'll still recognise a lot of the key landmarks. But I like that. I like how it's not completely unrecognisable. It has enough stuff to keep players interested, and considering Sumrak and a handful of other devs put this together in their spare time, I really think this is a solid map that will be played by the DayZ community for even years to come. In terms of gunfights and combat, both PvP and PvE, Namalsk is quite a small island in comparison to Chernobyl, of course. The server me and Hamish were on had about 60 players constantly. Even this felt like it was pushing the limits. We came across players once every 10 minutes or so, depending on our location, which is practically unheard of in Chernobyl. Depending on what type of player you are, and if you like that more solitary experience, this may not appeal to you. It is overall a really satisfying map to play on, just because of how much terrain you have to work with. The mountainous areas, bunkers and scattered collections of buildings really suits DayZ's gunplay. Now, one really important thing to mention, and this may have been a server setting, although I have seen other streamers and YouTubers have this too, is that the zombies are absolutely relentless on this map. If you are used to the Snorefest that zombies are on Chernobyl, then this will certainly keep you on your toes. It seems like there's some kind of dynamic spawning system, so if you go into a military base, for example, there'll be like 20-30 zombies there, and they'll aggro much easier from further away, and they'll keep spawning if you keep shooting them with loud weapons. This mechanic of course rewards melee combat and stealth gameplay, where you'll often have to sneak around to get what you need. And it felt really good to have such a challenge with the zombies. And normally the zombies are seen as a bit of a joke on Chernobyl, but on the Namalsk, we were far away from laughing at the zombies. Well, except when things like this happened. Now, it's really nice to see these custom mechanics, and I like that Sumrak has made the game much less about standing still, looting, playing soldier dress up, popping the odd zombie in the head now and again, but really pushing you to get in and get out as quick as possible. Finally, the Namalsk map actually has an additional add-on called Namalsk Survival, which was also created by Sumrak and a team of other developers. It adds more mechanics such as further weather effects, frostbite, freezing food and blowouts. Blowouts. You remember those god-awful EMP blasts from Namalsk on the DayZ mod, which would take half of your blood and leave you unconscious, bleeding on the floor if you weren't indoors? Well, they're back with this add-on. Oh, and did I mention it also adds the beautiful northern lights to the map, and Namalsk just got a whole lot more beautiful. So there you have it. That's DayZ Standalone's Namalsk in a nutshell. If you've made it this far, what are you doing, man? Go out there and download it. It's free and it takes up barely any space. If, like me, you've taken a long break from DayZ, this may just perk your interest and get you back into it again. The game is in a really good place at the moment, in my opinion, and I think the mods, as predicted in my DayZ revival video, have helped to take away those really laborious parts of DayZ vanilla, whilst adding new and interesting things to play with. I really enjoyed playing lately, and I definitely recommend spinning up the game again to try Namalsk for yourself. I hope to see you shivering to death with me sometime, and thank you very much for watching. Take care guys, TOMMEH out.